wondering, you've been talking a lot about Islam and how the Islamic State is coming out of that. I was wondering if you think there's such a thing as moderate Islam, and what your thoughts are on the distinction between moderate and radical Islam, and where to draw the line there.
Well, of course, there are a lot of Muslims who aren't violent, and they're choosing not to read the Quran and the Hadith literally, because those who are engaging in violent jihad are reading the words of the Prophet Muhammad, and they're reading the words of the Quran and the Hadith literally, and they're acting literally upon those words. There are many Muslims across the United States and across the world that don't read those words literally. That is the difference.
How do you think the U.S. should respond, not just to the threat of Islamic jihad, but to the human rights abuses in the Middle East and to the Islamic rule over there?
Well, we need to stand up and call them out for what they are. It's barbaric. It's barbaric and it's cruel. The rhetoric that the President of the United States used at the UN was a very, very tough rhetoric, and I applaud him for his rhetoric. His actions don't follow his words. He's not following the way that we're dealing with the Islamic Jihad in a forceful manner. It's actually a pretty light manner because the President wants to have it both ways. He's engaging in his fantasy thinking, which is in some respects, he believes that war is obsolete. Well, would that it be true? That isn't true for those who are now engaged in Islamic jihad. That's why they've declared war on the United States. We need to declare war on Islamic jihad and say this is not acceptable in the world today, and we need to defeat it decisively. We can. That's the good news. We have the greatest military in the world, but what's odd is that the president has completely benched the greatest military in the world. He's saying, no thanks, I won't use our military. He's using our forces to do airstrikes, but he's not using our army. We have the greatest army in the world. Instead, he's trying to rent an army. And he's taking those who are not vetted and not moderates, because we'll never know who they are. We know, in fact, they aren't. And they're getting 3 weeks training and given an American weapon, and they're being called upon to defeat violent, well-trained, decades-long members of Al-Qaeda. Well, it's fantasy thinking that they're going to win this war. We need to defeat Islamic Jihad as quickly as we possibly can and get serious and recognize that these guys are serious too.